Hey everyone, welcome to A Look into Science, where we explore the worlds of chemistry, biology, and really anything you guys are interested in. My name is John, and I'll be your host for today. Very quickly, I'm an application chemist here at Nanalysis, which is a company that sells and manufactures compact magnetic resonance instruments. Nanalysis supplies benchtop NMR instruments for industrial and educational applications with the goal of making NMR more accessible. Today's segment is brought to you by the Inspiring Scholars Directed Research Program. The ASDRP is a nonprofit research institution located in San Francisco's Bay Area that gives high school students the opportunity to participate in high-level STEM research. This gives them skills that will help them in future endeavors. The coolest part, you ask? All the science is done directly by the students. With that, I'd like to introduce you to Xina Wang, a talented high school student who's going to take us through her experiment today. Hey guys, welcome back to episode 2 of A Look into Science with our special guest, Xina. How are you doing, Xina?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Could you just give us a brief introduction of yourself, like maybe your hobbies and how you became a part of the ASDRP?
I'm a current junior at Amador Valley High School. Some of my hobbies include I play violin in our school symphony orchestra. I also swim in our school swim team, and I also really enjoy tutoring. And I became a part of ASDRP because I was looking for research opportunities that were like financially accessible and local to me. And so I applied in my sophomore year and was placed in a microbiology group before moving on to a more of a medicinal chemistry group in 2021.
Oh, cool. Have you been playing violin for a long time, or?
I've been playing for about 5 or 6 years now.
Oh, okay, that's cool. You don't hear a lot of people that play violin nowadays, but that's cool. Um, do you have any like specific plans after your high school? Maybe like university, what you're planning on studying at all, or?
Yeah, I'm hoping that when I go to university, I could hopefully study either like biology, biochemistry, or bioengineering.
Okay, so you are like pretty on the science area or science field. That's
Yeah.
that's good. Okay. More people in the STEM field is always nice. All right, let's get right into it. Xena has written an application note titled Benchtop Fluorine Nuclear Magnetic Resonance Spectroscopy Enabled Kinetic Studies and Optimization of the Synthesis of Carmofur and Related 5-Fluorosyl Analogs. First off, what was the inspiration for this experiment?
Yeah, so actually this project was started before I joined ASDRP, but essentially the idea was in 2020, some people conducted a drug repurposing screen where carmofur, which is an anti-tumor and a neoplastic agent, was found to be a potent covalent inhibitor of the SARS-CoV-2 main protease, or MPRO, making it a very promising lead compound to develop into COVID-19 antivirals. Hence, we wanted to make analogs of carmofur that could be repurposed as a COVID-19 antiviral. And so phase 1 of our project per se was a high throughput virtual screen study where we used molecular docking to generate multiple MPRO variants, and we used homology modeling to determine the binding affinity of a library of carmofur analogs to MPRO's active site. And so afterwards, we actually sought to optimize the synthetic route to synthesize these analogs by coupling 5-fluorouracil with various isocyanates. And so to do this, we screened differing reaction conditions such as temperature, solvent, and like moisture concentration, since there's all factors that greatly impact reactivity and reaction kinetics. And we found that 19F NMR was a very efficient and necessary tool for monitoring these changes.
Oh, okay, cool. So you definitely went way into a summary as well with that. That's perfect.
my name's Xina, and I'm going to show you guys around the lab.
Carmofur is an anti-cancer agent used to treat colorectal cancer through inhibition of acid ceramidase. Through drug repurposing screens, carmofur has been shown to be a potent covalent inhibitor of the SARS-CoV-2 main protease, which is responsible for viral replication, making it a novel potential antiviral against COVID-19. We synthesized carmofur through the addition of 5-fluorouracil to hexyl isocyanate. Other forms of reaction monitoring, such as high-performance liquid chromatography, take an extremely long time. But NMR is much easier. We can take a crude reaction mixture and get quantitative insight without any additional processing. And it's very simple too. As you can see, the reaction kinetics are being monitored right now. We have our internal standard peak, and we also have our 5-fluorouracil peak, or our reactant peak, and we actually can see some of our product with carmofur forming. And just like that, it's done.
How did you actually get to like using NMR for this study? Like, were you just like, oh, let's just try fluorine NMR, or what was that?
I
Yeah.
had to use NMR because we found that it was like very convenient because there's already a fluorine atom on 5-fluorouracil and hence so on carmofur as well.
Yeah.
And our compound is so polar that it was just very difficult for us to track with other instruments. We tried previously with LCMS, didn't work very well just because once again it's so polar. It's a very small molecule, and there's an issue where some our reactant and our product can fly as different things. So one can fly as an anion, one as a cation, and so we had to actually optimize a method. So we found that since there's already a fluorine handle on carmofur, it would be extremely convenient to just use 19F to monitor the reaction kinetics instead.
Okay, that's fair. So before you used NMR for this experiment, did you have any prior knowledge to NMR at all, or was this experiment like the start of it?
So this experiment was pretty much my introduction to using NMR the very first time. I had around the same time, before starting this specific project, I had also used NMR in reaction monitoring of some multi-component reactions, and also like some reactions trying the kinetics and reactivity of using some like metal ligand catalysts. But overall, this project was like the very first time I had actually used this for quantitative kinetic monitoring. And so it was surprising to me how easy it was to basically track this reaction.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to hear, because we pretty much benchtop NMR is for the convenience and like having it more readily accessible. So have you actually ever used a high field instrument before?
No.
No? Okay. What was your biggest hurdle in this project, and maybe what was your main takeaway from it?
The biggest hurdle in the project was definitely this reaction sensitivity, and also with the fact that the isocyanate mechanism is highly debated and people are not even quite sure how it happens. And we overcame it by doing a lot of hands-on work, taking what we had either like learned from literature or the ideas that we had and applying it in the lab by trying out a lot of different conditions one by one. And so we had to do a very high throughput screen of various conditions to try to get these reactions to work. And only after putting in a lot of the time and effort a lot of more practical and workable solutions came to be developed. So for example, when the project first started, it was simply just to use 19F-NMR to synthesize carmofur analogs with commercially available isocyanates and test their efficacy. But then we ran into a lot of problems with the different reactivities between our alkyl isocyanates and our aryl isocyanates. And even among our aryl isocyanates, there's a lot of varying reactivities. And so sometimes, though, we found that an isocyanate was able to form products. So we realized that depending on what type of temperatures we used, what type of the concentration of isocyanate we used, maybe like what kind of solvents we used, those could all impact how our reaction progressed. And something even more interesting was that we found that depending on how rigorously the NMR tube was kept moisture-free, it affected how much or if the reaction progressed at all. And we thought that since the hydrolysis of isocyanates produces ureas, and ureas were previously reported to catalyze acylations, we originally also hypothesized it might be catalyzing a reaction. And so we tried several types of ureas like diethyl diphenylurea, but that didn't work. So a lot of this was just a lot of redirections, a lot of trying over and over again. And so what we found later was that, by adding water and in a specific ratio of water to isocyanate, it can actually catalyze the formation of product. And we also found a lot of interesting studies regarding the type of temperature and what's kind of the activation energy and the kinetics needed to actually make this reaction progress. So I guess in summary, after describing this entire thing, yeah, a hurdle was definitely the sensitivity and all the variations this reaction could go through, and definitely a lot of time put into actually putting and doing this high throughput screen was necessary to come up with a solution.
Okay, cool. Lastly, how do you think you've grown throughout your experience with the ASDRP, maybe from start to finish? Like, have you learned anything like that you could take away in maybe like real life or something like that?
Yeah, I guess I definitely gained a lot more confidence and about my abilities as a scientist. Before actually trying to get into this sort of work, I didn't believe I could become a real scientist, and I'm really thankful for the opportunities ASDRP has given me, especially with all the instrumentation we have to explore and open my eyes to all the diverse fields in science, which has definitely fostered my curiosity and changed the way I think about things. And I see myself becoming more interested in more different types of subjects, such as technology, than before. But most importantly, I think that I have become a lot more confident in my abilities and aspirations as a future researcher and innovator.
That is so amazing to hear. I never got this experience in high school. Out of high school, I'm like, I just want to be an entertainer or something like that. But I'm glad that you have the scientific mind now, and that the ASDRP has opened your, I guess, realm of possibility for just general life things. So I'm happy that you've gained that experience. You went so in depth with all your explanations that I think that about wraps it up for today. So I want to give a big shout out to Xina and the ASDRP for cooperating with us for this episode. Anyways, before I see y'all next time, stay happy, stay healthy, and stay curious for the next time we take a look into science. Thanks, Xina.